Did I just hear somebody ask, how do you install a deck ledger? I thought so. We are about to show you in this video all the steps, flashing, what they did wrong on the old one, installation, and securement of that new ledger, flashing, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you hit subscribe, stay tuned. New project here, and we had a big deck to demo, so we have done that. This is the last ledger board that is still up, and you can see no flashing was installed here. This is a little bit different than traditional siding because they have this board and batten, so we knew there was going to be some rot. We weren't sure how bad. It's not as bad as it typically would be because it does have some areas to drain. Still, you want to make sure it's flashed, so we're going to do that, and let's show you what we got, some of the damage that we encountered. You can see, obviously, water has been getting behind this ledger board, but luckily, it's not a huge problem here, actually, because this is framed a little bit untraditionally. What we got the siding, the board and batten. Behind that was a 1x sheathing, looks like a 1x6, then a foam insulation board, and then underneath that is our sill plate and the rim joist to the house. So we lucked out here, the rot didn't penetrate into the interior framing, it just rotted out this sheathing, and I think the big reason for that was because we have this foam insulation board behind our 1x sheathing. So we're gonna clear all of this out. We are going to reflash it, install the ledger, and we'll show you how we do all of that. All right, Catherine, let's take this off.
All right.
We already do have a little bit of a flashing underneath the siding, which is good. We're still gonna flash behind and over top of our ledger, but that's a good sign. That was probably another little thing that helped keep this from rotting more than it did. So we're gonna go over top of the insulation board. It's intact all the way around pretty much, so everything's gonna sit flat on it, and we're gonna do ice and water shield over top of this, and we're gonna get it up as high as we can so that if any water gets behind our ledger, it's gonna hit that ice and water shield, and it's not going to at any point get in contact with the rim of the house. We're getting the ice and water shield behind our ledger. We cut our siding a little bit above our decking, so we're just getting it up as high as we can so that if we hit the ledger and for some reason that ledger flashing fails, it's gonna hit this, it's gonna go down, it's gonna drain, it's gonna be fine. So this is a self-adhesive, it's really a roofing underlayment, but commonly referred to as ice and water shield, and it is a thick rubberized membrane, so it's gonna seal around any protrusions like screws, and it's gonna get it sealed up real nice. All right, so we've got it hanging down just a little bit lower than the rim board of the house, so protect it all the way down. Any water that does, which it never should, but if it does get here, it's gonna hit this, go down, drip right off, we'll be good. Yeah, thank you, thank you. You've been a great helper, your attitude is impeccable, and
Into you.
see how sticky this stuff is. Woo! And a lot of people will use regular flashing tape for an application like this, but we like to use this because you see how thick it is. Obviously very sticky. So when you go through this, it's really gonna seal around the screw or nail really well.
Good you didn't like calling it a slap chop.
I said that I thought it was cool that you called it that. But if I'm being honest, that was a lie. Hey, did you guys strip this side as well too? Did the same way?
Yeah, just because we're missing one by.
So after a little discussion between me and Anthony, we decided the finishing detail on this is going to be a piece of 1x6 PVC trim. So instead of trying to flash underneath here, we are going to cut this up higher and install some counter flashing above our 1x6 PVC, and that will allow us to put our ledger board on here, get the full height of our Z flashing, and then we can also tape that to the wall, and then we just flash that little piece of PVC, and we should be good. So I'm gonna cut some more of this out, and then we'll attach our ledger, and we'll show you how we do that.
You can use the hang on thing if you want, or hold on.
So hold on.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
You're measuring off of the bottom of that?
I'm measuring off of the part, yeah. We're gonna snap a line across here. See here, Mark? I know, it's because it was cut kind of there. I measured off of the flashing. Yeah, just do it there, and then we'll extend our line past. We're gonna take off this little flashing that was behind our siding. So we're gonna flash over top of that for our ledger flashing. You wanna just get a nail gun over here? So the house situation is a little bit wacky here. We've got plywood sheathing coming all the way out here. Some places they had sheathing and then another layer of sheathing. So what we're gonna have to do is pick an elevation that we wanna stick with. It's gonna be easiest for us to pack this back out to this level of sheathing, and then we can put our ledger board up and we can pull this out a little bit and we can flash all the way up behind here. So that's what we'll do next. Let's go. What we want to do is get a level mark across from threshold of the door over here. So turns out that bottom of this sheathing is exactly where we need to be. But that's going to be the height of our decking, so we do need to come down 1 inch from that. All right, Tom, you got the laser set up? We're gonna need to seam this ledger. It's longer than 20 feet, so we're gonna start with a 16. We made our level mark right here, measured 1 inch down, and I leveled it across. So here's right where we wanna start. We'll put the board up, put some nails in it over here, and then we'll just throw a level on it. We'll make sure that we're continuing level as we go that way.
Bless you.
Phew!
God bless your soul.
There's all that cedar dust.
Julep, julep, julep.
So what we're gonna do here, that is tight to our corner trim. We're gonna have our outside fascia come inside of that, and then we'll also have our last joist nailed into the side of the ledger. So we need to subtract 2 inches from that. 63 3/8 minus 2, 61 3/8. Did I calculate that correctly? 61 3/8. We're gonna throw that up here, and then we can keep moving.
around like just a small amount. There you go.
All right, next step.
Next step, Sean. Tell everybody the next step. Everybody's dying to know.
First step, get yourself an ant to keep you motivated, keep you, pumped up.
No, you're not. Come over here. I'm not going to go up and down until Tom's here with a measuring tape.
Is it level?
No, up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
The video of more of these antics will be up next week, so stay tuned. We're gonna pull a layout here. We have 2x10s, 12 inches on center, and it works out. We're gonna have a double border on both ends, and it works out with our layout because our two borders are 11 inches. So check this out. We're gonna have a joist that runs along the house here. So I'm gonna make my first mark right here. That gives us, that's gonna be our joist right here. If we have two 5.5-inch boards, that brings us to 11, about 11 1/4 with our gap. So we'll have blocking that runs this way. Our next joist is gonna pick up our field boards running this way. So it doesn't usually work out on our layout, but since we're doing double border, everything's just gonna be 1 foot on center. Don't have to adjust it for our picture frame border. This is nice. Age-old debate here. Do you do one line and an X, or do you do 2 lines? Ant likes 2 lines. He's probably gonna be running the joist.
How many X's you put?
Well, I do have 2 X's as well. Hey, I'd like you to call me sir from now on.
Nope. Top of the jacket. I'm laying these joists. Say you put them on this side, and I was working this way. That's good, right? But if you put them on the other way, and I was working this way, it makes it annoying to look over. So that's why I always put 2, because you're never in a situation that you can like, oh, I have to bend over or look over. Some people are left-handed, some people are right-handed, some people like to be on the left side, some like the people want to be on the right side. Look, with speed squares, watch. There's no thinking, there's no looking, there's no nothing.
So what we're gonna do now is install our lag screws to secure this structurally to the house. What we're using is a traditional lag screw replacement, no pre-drilling. They're made by many different manufacturers now. Makes it a lot easier to secure your ledger to the house. The one thing that you need to check on is the spacing of these screws on your ledger, and that is dependent on your joist span. So we have 15.5, so we'll say 16, and you can find the charts on the boxes. We've already taken the boxes, screws out of the box, so we don't have the box, but you can check online to see what the spacing is. Now we are ready to attach our ledger to the house, and one thing I didn't mention previously, but you will want to think about when you're attaching it, we are attaching here over this rigid foam insulation. Can do that as long as the distance between the house rim and the back of our deck ledger is less than 1 inch. So we have 1/2-inch sheathing and a 1/2-inch foam board, so those are nominal, so we're actually at about 7/8, so we're good. But if you have something larger like a 2-inch foam, you're not gonna be able to have that behind your ledger because code says no more than 1 inch between your house rim and the backside of your deck ledger. Something to think about. Now I checked the span tables and we have 16-foot span, so it said we need screws every, I think it said 9 inches. But that's gonna get kind of complicated. Like I said, we want them all exposed, so I'm just gonna do a 6-inch spacing and we're gonna stagger them in each bay. Yes, Anthony? So we now have our ledger securely attached to the house. We have our joist laid out on it, and all of our fasteners are exposed, so when we get our framing inspection, the inspector can see the placement and the spacing of all of our structural screws. The last thing that we need to do is do our ledger flashing. After we get our joists up, we'll install our ledger flashing. Our joists will come in, and we will just cut around that, bend that up, so that it's not gonna interfere with our joists. And then because we're gonna do a trim board on top of the decking, we're gonna just get another piece of aluminum flashing. We're gonna tuck it behind our siding, and it's gonna overlap on top of this. So any water that might come down here, it's gonna hit that flashing, it's gonna be over top of this, it's gonna hit here, and it's gonna go down. Nothing can get behind our ledger, and even if it does, we have that ice and water shield behind it, so it is protected. These are the things that you want to think about when you are installing your ledger board. It's the most critical connection that you're gonna have on your deck, and it's the most common point of deck failure. So make sure you hit subscribe, stay tuned, let us know what you thought of this video. But until next time, this has been Premier Outdoor Living.